Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Macro Podcast. I am honored today to be joined by my good friend Vlad Arakcheyev. Vlad, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Really excited to be here.
Absolutely, Vlad. And before we get too far down the weeds, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate?
Yeah, for sure. It's been a crazy adventure, and I didn't know anything about real estate at all. Was a graphic designer, and during COVID decided to change my whole way of going and earning money. So uh, started to be a real estate agent here in New Jersey, selling just regular residential houses. Then, of course, the natural pathway took me to flipping, some wholesaling, and then after I couldn't scale fast enough, and all because of my wife as well, because she was like, "Come on, we can do more." She goes, "Let's try multifamily." So we went to Multifamily Investors Nation in Houston. My eyes got opened on the world of multifamily, and here I joined Jake and Gino and MIH Mastermind for connections, of course, education, and mentorship. And here I am, 500, no, now it's 670 doors later, and 1.5 years. Here I am, multifamily investor. So looking,
And
yeah.
Vlad, can we unpack that a little bit? I had a really kind of a less happy experience with coaching, but it sounds like the ones you did choose were pretty good. And can you tell us a little bit about what you found across the different groups and the pros and cons of each, or anything you want to share that'll help people if they're in that situation of trying to decide what to do?
Yeah, I got when I started flipping and wholesaling, I really got burned because I pretty much just kind of went with this flashy guy on Facebook that was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna make $20,000 a month. Go with me. This is like the best thing ever." I went with him, spent I think $6,000, and it crashed and burned. It was awful. So I'm not gonna make that mistake again. And when I went from multifamily conference, we needed to interview multifamily mentors. So we made a list of approximately 8 of them, the main top people or organizations with the most experience that were doing business, that were focused on exactly multifamily. There's a lot of them that actually do a lot, but not really focused on multifamily. Since I'm in real estate, I wanted to be somebody that really was focused just on multifamily and not have a bunch of businesses. So I interviewed everyone. I interviewed Jake and Gino and Ratcliffe's and Samrocks and you name them. And the most important thing is you have to click with that person and click with what they're teaching and how they're presenting the material. That's the most important thing. I mean, they're all great. It's just all depends on how it feels and if who you gel with. So take your time and interview them because it's free. Because once you get in, you're in. You have to spend $20,000-$30,000. It's a big investment.
Right.
So make sure you really, really know the people or organization that you click with. So I joined Jake and Gino and also MIH Mastermind, which is kind of a spin-off from Jake and Gino. Marco Barbaro is running it. He's Gino's brother.
Yeah, so it is all in the family there, and it still seems like both were great. I've had great impression of Jake and Gino. The entire group of people that I know in Jake or Gino are incredibly. There's such a great community over there, and again, I agree with you if you find one that jives with you. But I will say with Jake and Gino, I was really impressed with the vibe of the people that are in that group for sure.
Yeah, take your time. That's the most important thing. Don't rush into things. Take your time.
And Vlad, I'm interested how you your mindset. I love this that you took that coaching experience with the wholesaling. I'm like, well, because some people would take a punch like that and be like, well, no, I'm just going to throw in the towel. How did you rebound from the kind of the disappointment there?
Yeah, that actually it's all because of my wife. If it wasn't for her, and she's not here, I'm not trying to
I'm not trying to butter up, get out of the
yeah,
doghouse or anything like
not at all. No, I
Yeah.
don't like to actually speak in front of her because I get super nervous, but
Yeah.
it's all because of her. My personality, I've taken a DISC test, DISC test,
Sure.
and I'm very green with like a touch of yellow. So I like to be safe. I like to be secure. I don't like to take huge leaps. She's on the other hand, red.
Yeah.
She likes to drive forward. She likes to
Like the
always,
heavy D, right? The heavy on the D, right?
yeah, she
Yeah.
likes to push ahead. If she's
Push.
not moving forward, then she's really standing
Yeah.
still. So it was the craziest story. So we were sitting on the couch watching TV. I used to watch TV back then, not anymore.
Yeah.
And she goes, I got us tickets to MFIN. I'm like, what does that mean?
Huh?
And she goes, it's a multifamily event in Houston. And I'm like, please tell me Houston is like a city in New Jersey that I know of. And she's like, no, we flying to Texas. And I'm like, what do you mean? The ticket is like $200
Right.
plus the plane, the hotel. It's gonna cost us like $1,000 per person.
Yeah.
She's like, we're going. That's it. And even in the airport, we're sitting there, and I'm like, what are we doing? Can we just go back? I mean, what are we doing? I was so disappointed, but after coming back, I could not be happier at what I've seen. It's just such complete different caliber of people. Everybody's so professional. At the same time, they were on the bottom where I was and always offering help. And they're like, call us at any time. Oh, by the way, we own 5,000 doors. And I'm like, what? They're gonna waste their time on me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, but you're a potential partner, investor. I mean, anything. Our paths will cross, and that's exactly how it was.
And isn't that amazing, Vlad? And I think you're a prime example of this too. The in the real estate business, the willingness to be helpful and the collegiality, I guess is the right word. I come from a legal background, and I promise you, it was not at all like that in the legal business for the most part. And it just amazes me how collegial real estate investors are, especially commercial. I think when you go to commercial, you realize it's just a team game, and you have to have good partners and have to be open and willing to find them.
Absolutely. It's such a tiny community. It's everybody knows each other. I mean, I'm speaking with a broker and I go, hey, listen, I buy in Texas, and they ask me a question. I tell them like few groups that I'm working in. They're like, oh yeah, I saw this guy yesterday and this person another day. It's such a tiny community. So your name and your reputation is everything in this world. So it takes a long time to gain, but it just takes a second to kill. So make sure you protect your reputation, stay on top of your game, and do what's right. That's the most important thing. So yeah, it's a tiny community if you think about it. Everybody knows everybody.
It's very true. And Vlad, I'm curious. You've been hitting the event circuit fairly heavily. Can you talk about some of the events that you like to go to that have been helpful?
Yeah, for sure. You know what? For some people, these big events might be draining, but for me, I don't know what it is, but I get all this energy and power off of them. So I went to MM5, which is Multifamily Mastery 5. That was last October. I'm going to MM6 this year in October of first week of October. I went to Best Ever Conference in Salt Lake City, then to Hero Capital Raising Summit in Houston. There's few others that I went to in Dallas. It was a Finance Right event. So for me, especially, you can do, let's say, 50 Zoom calls. You can do as much networking over the internet as possible. But if you see that person live, one-on-one, in my opinion, that's just like 20 Zoom calls. It's just a completely different vibe. So in my experience, try to go to at least 4 to 5 live events per year. per year. Yeah, I know there's a lot, but pick big good ones that you go to, not the ones that just sell you on stuff, that try to like push all that information, but really just focus on education and focus on mentorship and focus on providing value. That's what it's all about. And of course, you get to network with a lot of other operators.
Yeah, and I will say, I think this is the one thing that if I did the coaching thing again, the mistake I made is I went to an event and I got the massive upsell and I was really disappointed in that. But I will say, if I took advantage of the networking more, I still probably could have got a lot more value out of it. So the events are great, but the networking, just make sure the information is good, yes, but the networking is where it's at. And I don't think I appreciated that when I went down that road before.
Yeah, networking is huge.
Yeah.
The most important thing that I struggle with, of course, as I'm sure many others, is following up. Like you can go to a networking event, you can collect, I don't know, 20 business cards and you have a stack of them. You're like, oh yeah, I met so many people. What are you doing about it? Make sure you write back to those people, like, hey, listen, it was great seeing you. If they're not local, that's perfectly okay. Let's catch up for a Zoom call. Let's do a few phone calls. If they're local, let's go to a drink or a coffee or dinner, anything. Make sure you follow up. And I struggle with that. I do. A lot of people forget. They don't take good notes, and I'm guilty. So I have to get my CRM together better and follow up with people. Absolutely.
Absolutely, could completely plead guilty also to that charge. That's the tough part about that. But for sure, completely agree that you're right about the follow up. Vlad, I'm just really curious, and you mentioned your wife. You guys make an incredible team, in my opinion. She has an incredible underwriting background. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys complement each other as a team?
Yeah. The cool thing is that we're completely opposite. Even though she's been in the space for a long time, and she's a commercial property appraiser as well as a CFA, so she has a lot of experience when it comes to underwriting and finances. And me, on the other hand, I can underwrite, but I'm not I'm not going to say proficient at it, because it takes me twice as long. I can read the model, I can analyze it, yes, but underwriting is not my thing. So please make sure to choose what you're really good at. Don't be good at like everything, but be great at like 1 to 2 things. Be just awesome at it. So if you're great at, for example, investor relations or speaking with brokers or going direct to seller, anything, be great at that. Actually, I'll give you an example. I was speaking with a person the other day, and he said, I own over 100 doors all by myself with zero money. And I'm like, okay, what's your secret? Creative financing. He cracked the code on creative financing. He's so good at it. He got 100 doors over all by himself with zero money. And where I met the guy? At capital raising event. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I want to know how to raise capital. And I'm like, listen, really, if you want my advice, you're so great at creative financing and buying properties without putting any of your money away. Why are you here? Why didn't you just hire a person to raise capital for you? I'll give you an example. If you doing capital raising, which takes your full attention, who's going to negotiate the deals for you? Who's going to look at the deals for you? You're going to miss out on deals. Do not just spread yourself too thin. Concentrate on what you do. Find a great capital raiser. Partner up together. You're going to be an unstoppable team.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this is like it takes a while to understand this when you're new, but sincerely, commercial real estate is a team game. What are the main hats? You got capital raising, you got asset management, you got deal finders, and then and then make sure you have somebody who can understand a physical plant and the physical property itself too. That's probably asset management and the physical side of it just don't really resonate with me at all. So anything I'm doing, I'm 100% partnering with somebody who's good at that. So 100% agree to stay in your superpower is what lane you should be in. And it's okay to take that a while. And I think that's also true too, that it may take you a while to figure out, okay, where in this game do I belong? But once you find that out and you find out what space makes you happy, especially if you have a sales background, capital raising is almost 100% your probable lane if you like sales and like to be in that outgoing space. But completely agree, Vlad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to be. You don't have to wear all the hats. Just be really good. I've been reading and studying Benjamin Hardy, Who Not How.
Yes.
So the thing is, you have to find the who will help me with my problem or what I want to be. Don't just go shallow, go deep, right? Go deep and really concentrate on what you have to do. Go with the flow and then find somebody to help you to get to that next level. Don't try to push yourself too much.
And can you spill some beans, Vlad, on the 10x is easier than 2x book? It's not quite released yet, but you have the inside track. Can you tell us a little bit, any huge nuggets that you want to share based on the book?
Yeah. So I've applied and been chosen to be on Benjamin Hardy's 6-week accelerated course, and his new book is 10x easier than 2x. So basically, the gist of that book is take 80% out of your daily routine or your daily life and just completely eliminate it and concentrate on 20% that's going to take you to the next level. So if you're going to, let's say, work twice as hard, you're going to be 2x, right? You don't want to be 2x, you want to be 10x. So find what you're really awesome at. Eliminate everything else, delegate it to somebody else, do whatever you got to do, and concentrate on quality versus quantity. Go, for example, high quality clients. Go for, let's say, podcasts with high download, with high exposure. Be out there as much as possible. So whatever your 20% is, go deep on that and go and the most important thing is, and he opened my eyes on this. When Apple came out of this came out of the new operating system and had this thing called what do you call it, do not disturb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's gonna use that? What is that all about?
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm using it all the time now. These distractions, like popping up messages and emails and text messages and blinking everywhere, you got to eliminate all that, because you have to concentrate on one thing and just flow. The most important thing is flow as much as possible. So what I have learned from Ben Hardy is this: concentrate on a task for 4 hours, let's say, without any interruptions. You can complete a task that took you 10 hours, even longer, in fraction of a time if you really concentrate and don't get distracted by anything else. Because if you get distracted, it will take you at least 20 to 30 minutes to get back to that task. So concentrate and just go deep on the task, and you will complete it better, and you will be a better operator or a professional at it. Yeah.
Vlad, thank you so much for sharing that. I cannot wait to get my hands on that book. That Ben Hardy has been one of the top authors I've come across lately. Be Your Future Self Now, Who Not How, and then 10x is greater than 2x. I'm really, really excited about that. Thank you so much for filling us in on what to look forward to on that one.
Yeah, he's really like opening your eyes, especially he's giving examples on how the statue of David is done, and instead of just envisioning it, take away everything that's not David. Just think about that.
Yeah.
Take away everything that's not your goal, and then your goal will just present itself. So you have to kind of sit and really journal and picture yourself how you want to be and bring yourself back to now.
from
your future self. So, yeah.
I cannot agree more. I think it's been one of the most incredible insights, flash of inspiration that I've seen in anything in mindset. There's a ton of mindset books out there, and frankly, a good part of them are repetitive. But I really have found that Ben Hardy is an exception to most everything else out there, and I cannot recommend Ben Hardy any higher. I really can't.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mindset is huge, and the one thing also is a good
Yes.
when it comes to identifying what's most important in your life, and that can be anything, not only work, but it can be your relationships or how you deal and treat with your kids, your friends. It can be absolutely anything. You can apply that to many aspects of your life. So just don't think of it just work related or business related. It can be everything, including your life and your health.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely. Moving on to what you're working on now, Vlad. Do you have anything fun going on right now? And I guess we should let's talk about the 600 units first, and then we'll get into that. You really have made incredible progress in a short period of time. Once you got, it's basically Ben Hardy. You did the Ben Hardy thing and focused, and manifested a great result. Can you tell us a little bit about your portfolio that you put together?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything started approximately 8 months after I joined Jake and Gino. I believe education is important, and you get what you pay for, of course. And networking is huge. Like I said, I live in Jersey, so how can I buy properties in Texas where I focus on, or Kansas City? I connected with people in Texas, and that's how my journey got started. First deal was it was pretty bad, I should say. It wasn't bad, but it didn't close. The thing is, I brought on I was so bold. I was like, I'm gonna raise capital on this deal, and I know how. I'm so awesome. And it was my first capital raise, and it was not doing well whatsoever. I thought I was gonna raise like 500,000, and I couldn't raise anything at all. But I was really persistent. I was going to like 5 networking events a day. I was everywhere. And I managed to raise 1.4 million. So I was like, whoa, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm already counting my money. I'm so excited to be a part of 208 doors. I was just so pumped. And guess what happened? That was last September, September of 2022.
Yeah.
What happened during that time? The Fed was raising the rates like crazy by 75 bips, even more, like every other month.
Yeah.
Banks got scared. They pulled out of the deal. We couldn't close the deal just because the bank pulled out of the deal. We could not get another bank with the same rate to basically to guarantee or to target the returns to our investors. So the deal did not close. But I got a lot of experience. Nobody lost their money, of course, because we returned all the capital back to the investors. Everything was fine. But I learned a lot of, I'm not going to say mistakes, but I learned a lot during that process, how to speak with investors, how to use the systems and everything that you need to do. And after that, everything just kind of snowballed.
And wouldn't you agree, Vlad, your belief system, even though, and that's another thing that's really important, I think, too, even though that particular case wasn't successful, your belief system was completely, like, I'll say forever altered, because it's like you like, oh, wait a minute, I know I can do this now. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, it's off to the races.
Oh, absolutely. It's a snowball effect after that. After that, I got into a deal in Sarasota. We purchased 8 acres of land where we are rezoning it now to build 96 units on. Then I got into 4 JVs in Boone, North Carolina, in South Carolina, right by the University, Columbia. Then, of course, I worked on a few syndications, 419 doors in North Dallas. We closed on the deal literally 3 weeks ago in South Dallas, 128 doors, and I went direct to seller and found 40 doors in Kansas City.
Oh,
It's
wow.
also a JV.
Yeah.
So it's been a crazy roller coaster between JVs and syndications, and I've been exposed to both, and it's been really exciting. You know, I'm super pumped to see what's coming in the future.
That's fantastic, and I understand, Vlad, you have one now that's in percolating, and we can I think we can talk about it now. So, what are you working on now?
Yeah, right now it's pretty interesting. I didn't find the deal, but I've been brought on to help with investor relations and also raise some capital on a deal in Houston. And even though right now it's, what is it, April 19th, everybody's quote unquote scared of what the Fed's gonna do and the crazy rates and things like that. We getting 5.6 agency debt locked for 7 years. So I would say it's working. And it's in Houston, so a lot of people are underwriting what, $1,500 per door when it comes to insurance. Still working. So I don't really care what the numbers are or what the rates are, as long as it's cash flowing and I can target the returns that I'm targeting. And just to give you the returns, it's a 5-year hold, 17% IRR over 7 to 8% cash on cash. We targeting 7% pref and 2x equity multiple after 5 years. So it's a 70-30 split, and it's a, I would say, pretty good return. So at this time, when people say there's no deals, there are deals. You got to put them together. You got to look for them, and you got to put them together. So you just got to be a little more patient. It's not as easy as it was before.
That's for sure, Vlad. But I also appreciate that it's like while everyone else is frozen up, you're out there taking action, and you basically created your own luck with being a part of this group. This is such it sounds like a really solid deal moving forward. So it sounds great.
It's like this. If you ask any investor, literally any investor, what is their one regret? They either say not going big fast enough or not buying more real estate. I don't know a single investor that says, oh man, I should have been sitting on the sidelines for this. No, always keep on looking, always be in the game, because you never know. You have to underwrite what, 80 deals to get one? Now it's a little more than that. So in my opinion, just be connected, be networking with everybody. You never know what value you can bring to people, either by raising capital or doing investor relations or doing asset management, anything. Any connection is valuable. Like, I'll give you an example. In one of our deals, we're trying to go from long-term rentals to midterm rentals, right? And cater to traveling nurses. So I don't have any experience with that. But I know there's a hospital next to our property in Boone, literally 5 miles away. And they have to have traveling nurses. They just have to, at least few. So I was looking like, what do I do? What do I need to find out? And I reached out to a few Jake and Gino buddies of mine. They gave me so much information on how they've done midterm rentals and what are the returns and what should I be looking for. And things that they have tested, they just gave me. So now I'm locked and loaded, ready to go back to the team in a week and be like, hey guys, I think we're sitting on like huge potential here. So let's try this.
That's incredible. And again, that ringing the bell back again about buying if you're in the right networking group and the right mentorship, it can make a huge difference in your results. I mean, absolutely. Your growth, Vlad, is very impressive in that period of time. And it really is reflective of them, but it's also reflective of how ferocious you are, Vlad. And that's a really awesome story.
Well, listen, I resigned from my W-2. I burned the bridges, so I got no choice but to succeed here. I have to. I have a mortgage, two kids, and 3 cats. So
that's right.
I gotta feed the cats, you know.
Yep, and that's one of my favorite Tony Robbins quotes. You want to take an island? Burn the boats, and you burn the boats, Vlad.
I did.
That's
No more
awesome.
loans.
That's incredible. Vlad, thank you so much for joining us today. And if people want to reach out to you, what are the best ways to get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, I'm all over social media. You know, Vlad Arakcheyev. You're not gonna find a lot of Arakcheyevs out there. So I'm on all over social media. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I started TikToking, about to launch my YouTube channel. I'm just trying to be out there as much as possible. And also my company is Zantic Ventures .com. You can just sign up and we can just talk if you want to invest in real estate. Also, you don't have to be active when it comes to multifamily. I understand that a lot of people have businesses and ultimately they want to invest, but they just don't know how, don't have time or anything. That's why please ask the questions, vet your operators, speak with them, see, look at their track record, and at the same time, just reach out. If you have questions, I might be able to answer them for you. If I can't, I'll definitely refer you to people that might have answers. So, you know, let's chat about multifamily. I'm very excited. I love real estate. I think it's one of the best hedge against the inflation. Definitely a great tax benefit right there, and
Yes.
great passive income. So
Yeah, for sure, folks. And take Vlad's word for it. I know for a fact if he doesn't know the answer, he knows someone who knows. I'm 100% convinced of that. Vlad's done an incredible job networking and really been a great resource. Vlad, thank you so much for joining us on the call. And one last parting question. Vlad, what do you like to do for fun if you're not doing real estate? Is there anything you like to do for fun?
oh, for fun, sure. Right now I'm spending, since it's pretty much summertime, I'm spending a lot of time outside,
Yeah.
going to hikes, parks. But when it comes to fun, I love motorcycles. I have a motorcycle myself. I go motorcycle riding around New Jersey, PA, and a lot of people don't know this. This is the first one right here. I'm revealing it on your show. I shoot guns as a
Oh, okay,
competition.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't hunt,
Yeah.
no, but I shoot USPSA.
Yeah.
That's when you run and gun with a pistol and engage.
Oh, wow, that looks like fun. Yeah, I've seen the competitions before. Those are cool.
It's a lot of fun, and I
Yeah.
know I live in Jersey, and people are like, oh my God, it's perfectly legal and
Yeah.
fine in Jersey, and
Yeah.
that's why I really enjoy doing that. It's a nice sport, very safe, and there's a lot of camaraderie there. So yeah, I like motorcycles and guns. So
That's a winning formula, Vlad. I really
mhm.
appreciate that. And again, we won't touch the tricky topics of some of the gun control debate. But what I will say, growing up, some of my favorite memories are just going out in the pasture and shooting a shotgun or a rifle. There's just, again, we'll stay away from the tricky topics, but for sure, once you've done it, there's incredible fun to be had when you just do it for for sport or for fun. It's incredible.
Absolutely. It's super safe if it's done correctly in the environment, and you know, you just got to be responsible when it comes to that. So it's a lot of fun for sure. And but that's what I do. Yeah, if you ride motorcycles, yeah, hit me up, and we'll go for a ride in Jersey, PA. I even go New York, Long Island. So yeah, it's a lot of fun here.
That's a fantastic, Vlad. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom from your journey, and congrats to your success. And I am convinced your arc is just onward and upward from here. And Vlad, I'm glad to have you on, my friend.
For sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Good to talk to you.
You too.